Welcome to the 21st Men, where we're redefining masculinity through our 4 pillars of modern manhood: entrepreneurialism, integrity, community, and mental health. Let's roll them up. And now, our table talk with Angie Goodman. When a man loves a woman. Y'all ever, really wanted to know, ladies, what a man looks for in a wife? Well, stay tuned and watch this. Let's go.
Hello, my name is Angelina Goodman, and I am the founder of the well-renowned group, Where Is My Boaz? And I'm here today with the 21st Men. And I have a few of them because we have some very specific questions that we need answers to as single women. I'm married, but them. But I wanted to ask some men so I can get their perspective. So it's just 5 quick questions just to gauge you guys, to see if you guys can give the ladies some help. So these were the questions that they chose. So the first question was, what would you say is the hardest thing singles face when dating in 2020?
Oh man, we should have got these questions beforehand. Hold up.
The hardest thing, I would say the hardest part about it probably now is social media. Social media has completely changed the game because it gives people access to just about anybody in the world.
Right.
So now dating has turned into basically like grocery shopping. So, you're going basically picking people off the shelf like, no, I like that brand. No, I don't like that brand.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't like that one. No, it's a dent in this can. Let me put that back. Like, you can really drop somebody for the smallest things. Like, he doesn't chew the way you want him to.
Right.
Yeah, go get another guy.
Right.
So I think that's a big...
I feel like we've been that way, but it's become normalized now.
Right.
You have more options now.
Right.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. A lot more options. It's face value, unfortunately.
Right.
I think there's like that clash between, eras.
Mm-hmm.
So there was once an era where women weren't expected to, be their own breadwinners and stuff like that. So
Right.
I think now that the mindset has kind of shifted to where the stay-at-home wife is not as prominent.
Right.
It's not as prominent because you guys wanna hustle out there with us.
Right.
And that's not something that we have disrespect for or anything like that. But I think adjusting to that is something that's difficult in 2020.
I think what's difficult is just people, women in general is just being genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Being like the old days. Just I don't care about what you got. I don't care what you got. Let me just get to know who you are.
Right.
Let me look past that. Just like the grocery store or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just being genuine is difficult.
Right. Okay.
I have not dated actually this entire year. I haven't dated. But I'm 32. I find myself thinking that it's going to be like 21 questions.
Right.
Maybe it's because it's my age, but I'm like out the door just like, what do you do for a living? How old are you? That's very important. How old are you? Because you can't tell nowadays.
Any kids?
Yes.
Any girls lurking in the shadows?
All right, so the next question, and I'll give you a second to think about it because I know you say you didn't get the questions before. So I want to know, what are 3 non-negotiable traits or characteristics that you look for in a woman? So 3 things, I call them in the group deal breakers. So it's 3 things once you see, it's kind of like, I can't work with that.
Oh man. For me, it's just love God, love yourself, and love people.
Okay, so if they don't, that's your deal breakers.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Like that's a non-negotiable. If you don't love God, if you don't love yourself, and if you don't love other people, you're not going to work, because that's my core.
Right.
But everything else, there's like this, when you do all those things, when you love God, when you love yourself, when you love other people, everything else will fall into place. I think that really plays a huge part in making sure, because I'm not about perfection, I'm all about progression, but you can't progress if you don't have those 3.
Amen. I agree.
For me, I would say being argumentative and being a high competitor. Okay. I'm not looking for competition within my relationship. Another one is kids, and that's because I don't have any of my own.
Okay.
So I'm not looking to take on another man's progeny. It's just I don't.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Right.
I would say another one. Well, I'm a sports guy, so if she doesn't have to be into sports, but you cannot have an issue with me
you
being
watching it. Right.
It's my brand.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, those deal breakers right there.
I'd say energy, effort, and I guess relatability. I would say.
Okay.
I guess that kind of like, weeds out a lot of people that I guess I couldn't relate to on certain levels. But relatability is important to me because I am going to, prioritize my mental health.
Right.
And I find mental health in the things I enjoy. So if the things I enjoy you can't relate to, or you have no interest in, it's nothing against you, but it's going to be difficult for me.
Right.
And then the energy and effort piece is just like, I see women put a lot of energy into the things that they prioritize.
Right.
If it's your appearance, what you gonna wear, then I need that energy for what I have going on.
Right.
As I hear all y'all say these things, it's like,
you want to add?
3's not enough. 3's not enough.
Okay.
Well, of course
Well,
not.
I just said 3 because it's like we're just trying to gauge when you're out and you're meeting women, what are things that you're just not. It's just not. You're not gonna move forward if you know, or if it's not there.
Oh, you mean deal breakers?
Deal breakers, because see, the
Okay.
thing about it is women are saying in the group that they meet people, and sometimes which someone ghosts you, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you said or you did, but sometimes it is something that you said or you did.
Yep.
So they're just trying to gauge to understand what could they be doing or what could they be saying, or if I got 6 kids, I already know why you didn't call me back, because you. I'm just saying, but
Well, I go.
You know why? Because he saw 6 bills. He saw 6 cars, 6 tuition payments.
Yeah, well, I'll go and start by saying my first one, of course, is God too.
Right.
Because that just gives me a direction on where it's gonna go. Well-being, how they are, how they carry themselves, home and public, and just being open.
Right.
Just being open. I know a lot of women say, okay, I have a wall and all this stuff, but if you're gonna assert yourself the time to talk and get to know me, you have to assert yourself to self-honesty to be open to talk with me and get to know me.
Okay.
So
a deal breaker would be for you, like if you're talking to someone, they're just not allowing you to get to know them, then you're
it's just
you're done.
terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now I'm going to move into a deeper question, and I've asked this question before, and the last time I asked it, it was kind of like, So hopefully you guys have it together.
Let's get deep.
So the question I wanted to know, I'm skipping because I want to make sure I get it in, is have you ever cheated in a relationship? And if you did cheat, why did you cheat?
I'm going back to the same answer. Never, unless you count porn.
Okay. Oh, you did say that last time.
I go. When I cheated, it was because I have feelings for a person going into the relationship that I was in.
Okay.
So this person that I was feeling going into the relationship that I eventually got into, that was the person that I cheated with. That was the person I was like, don't worry, that's just my friend. This is a long time ago. It's not like I did this yesterday. I didn't do this yesterday.
Right.
But I did, and I didn't confront the feelings I had with that person before I got into that relationship. I shouldn't have been in a relationship because to say that you're gonna be with one woman yet have feelings for multiple people, maybe I should consider a different form of relationship before getting into a relationship with somebody and selling them a dream.
Right.
Yeah, I think I ended up selling that person a dream.
So I get what you're saying. So you cheated. It wasn't like the person you cheated on. It wasn't anything wrong with them. You just kind of stepped into something, and your feelings, your heart was somewhere else, or you was.
Yeah, I didn't come into it laser focused on her.
Okay.
So.
Anybody else?
No, I haven't cheated.
Never?
No, I'm going to say this. I haven't cheated in a relationship, but I do feel like when I wasn't in the relationship, if I was talking to somebody and I was getting to know that person, and then I talked to somebody else and did some other things with that other person, I do feel like I cheated then. So a lot of people won't mount up to that, but we all know it hurts to say, okay, well, we were talking and you talking to somebody else, and it's kind of like,
Right.
And some people don't feel like that's
right.
Nothing wrong with that, but I do. I feel like that's still kind of cheating in a way.
Right. Okay. So. And I just want to be clear. So what you're saying is like when you're in the talking phase, you have someone that you're kind of talking to a lot, and then maybe you have somebody else on the side that you're kind of talking to too. Right. So you in your mind feel like that's cheating because you think that I may be only talking to you.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you are with that person.
Well, that just means you weren't clear with the person.
Right. Yeah. It's cheating.
Okay. All right. All right, so next question, because we're going to be winding down. I want to know, when you're getting to know a woman in the first 30 days, what are you looking for?
Character and integrity.
Character and integrity, okay.
Interest. First, because nothing else matters if she's not interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was talking earlier about energy and effort, how women put energy and effort into, you know, the things that they are interested in. I gotta see that first.
Right.
Then we can talk about, you know, how we vibe, how we relate on things, and our thought processes of world issues.
Right.
All that comes after I know
you're interested.
that you're interested.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm looking for high interest. If it's not high interest, then we don't need to talk. You got small interest, and it's rare that it'll grow over time. I need that interest to be higher right then, because I need reciprocation.
Right.
So, like, I'll say, take an ex-girlfriend of mine. We had been, you know, talking for a little bit, and I think Valentine's Day came up. And that Valentine's Day, she said she didn't want to do anything. And I said, okay. So, but I got her something anyway. She showed up Valentine's Day with a pair of sneakers, a home-cooked meal, some homemade cookies, and a bear with some candy. Wow. And I was like, boom, all right, we were together 5 years. Right. So, I mean, you know, I was like, right then and there, that established, okay, she's high interest.
Right.
So if you have a high interest, the relationship, you know, you can work through a lot of other things because she's actually vested and interested in being with you.
Right.
And just that time, I'm gonna just throw this last little piece in there on my end, and y'all can take it away. But just to give an example, I once talked to a lady who was an agent in the FBI. I didn't think I would ever hear much from her, but she called me all the time. One time she called me while she was literally spying on somebody she suspected of being a terrorist.
She was interested.
Yeah.
She was very interested.
Right.
You know, it's not like she, you know, she loses track of the person she's watching, because it's a bunch of them out there, and she watching. She just got her headphones in, talking to me.
Right.
Oh, this is what he's doing right now.
But she's really
like,
really
it was like some movie stuff. But that gave me.
She already ran your record. She already knew everything she did.
Yeah, that gave me perspective, because I'm like,
Oh, man.
if she really likes you, she's gonna show.
Right. Even at that type of job, with that type of job.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah, of course we all interest. I'm going with initiative, and just humor. You know, I mean, I always like to, you know, I'm high on joy. I'm high on being happy. You know, through the good and the bad. So if I can't make you laugh, or we can't laugh together with humor in the tough days and the good days, I mean, how are we gonna, you know, down the road, be able to build, you know, who knows where we're going to go at. You know?
So your first 30 days, we need to be laughing.
Yeah, we need to be laughing, having a good time.
Don't get in your feelings after you done roasted me, and then I talk about you. Then don't get in your feelings. You roasted me first.
Now that's me. Now I can't take it.
You can't take it.
Oh, no, I can't take it. That's what that is. Okay, so last question. We're going to kind of wrap it up, okay, because of time. But the last question I have is, if you could give your sister or close female friend one piece of advice about dating, what would it be? And I want to be honest, I said sister or close female friend because you're going to see them differently than you're going to just see somebody you don't know. So if you have somebody that you're close with, any woman, what would your dating advice be? Just one piece.
For me, and I would just be any woman, even the woman I'm interested in, because I want to keep it 100, especially with black women, to help them out, because a lot of them are struggling dating. So date with a purpose.
Okay.
Date with a purpose. I ask young ladies all the time. I say, okay, you like this guy, or do you think you see yourself marrying him in the next couple of years? And she said, well, yeah, I do. I said, well, does he feel the same way? Well, yeah, we talk about it. I say, so, they were living in 2 different cities. I said, so both y'all are interested in being married, but nobody's put a plan in place to be in the city, in the same city within the next year.
To make it work, right.
I say, so you are wasting time. A man could mess his life up for the next 20 years as a young man, take 2 years, get himself together, and still get the woman that he desires.
Right.
You have a limited time to date. So women have to date with a purpose, and you carry the children, so you have to have discernment.
Okay.
I like that. And I'd go back to, of course, how I feel about myself when I'm looking at somebody. Of course, make sure they love God, love themselves, and love people, but also make sure that they are. If I'm giving advice to a woman, you need to make sure you're dating not based off of potential, but purpose, like he's saying, because potential it doesn't have to always arise to the occasion.
Right.
But purpose will, and you'll always know that based off of discipline. So if you're basing it off of purpose, then just make sure that their discipline lines up. You can see the potential, but if the discipline doesn't line up with their purpose, then
It doesn't matter.
You can't pay the light bill with potential.
Right.
Yeah.
Just throw something in there real quick. I know we're running out of time.
Yeah, out of time.
Is protect your reputation at all costs. I know it sounds, it goes against some liberal ideas out there right now, but we talk about my sister. If I had a sister,
your
I would
sister.
tell her, don't have yourself in a situation where you walk to a party and a bunch of dudes can have a story about you. That's what I would tell her.
Yeah, I look at it as I would tell the friend, just remember that, is in a game of chess that you're the queen and he's the king. He's important, but you're powerful.
Right.
So you allow yourself to do the things you want to allow in your life and what you want to deal with, and he has to accept that with his own choice. So you have to live with it as a man. You have to be allowing yourself to lose or whatever as a woman. So that's what I would tell him.
All right, well, I want to thank you guys so much. I feel like I got a lot of information to take back to the ladies. So again, this is Where's My Boaz? I'm Angelina Goodman, and I'm with the 21st Men. I want to thank you guys for tuning in.
All right.
Well, now we're coming to an end of the show, but I know y'all are like missing somebody, but he couldn't be here in physical form, so we got him right now. Go ahead and introduce that next show for us, brother.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the greatest and the best show in America, the 21st Men, where we are redefining masculinity.
I already did that.
Coming up next, Man Theory, talking about man stuff.
Boom. I ain't got no muscles. Watch.
Here we go again, man. Another episode of Man Theory. What are we going to talk about today?
Tonight, man, we're gonna talk about thinking for yourself and how important that is for a man.
Okay.
I know for me, growing up, I used to kind of want to fit in with the crowd. I'm guilty of it. I didn't grow up immune to that. Some of the decisions I made in high school, I just kind of look back at, and it's like those didn't do me any good. Because I didn't do as well in high school as I could have had I applied myself.
Yeah,
so,
I think.
and then looking back, trying to fit in with people, not having my own identity, thinking for myself to make the decisions that I want to make that are best for me, not doing that held me back early in life, man. What about you?
Okay, for me, I think, first off, I think everybody can, go back in high school. Because I think of so many times in high school, I'm like, man, I could have had straight A's if I would have thought better for myself and doing certain different ways. But, wisdom comes with time. Sometimes it comes earlier than later, But a time for me when I had to think for myself was probably when I was in the military. I was in for like 8 years, and I have a son, he's 10. And I had to think like, well, by the time I get out, or if I decide to get out when he's 10, I have enough time to spend with him for the rest, like until he's 18, because, if I stayed in 20 years, which we all want to stay if you love the Army and the military or whatever, but, I had to, as a father, I had to think about it and say, okay, if I stay in until he's 18, I'm going to miss out on a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, like graduations, games. I had to think about a lot of stuff.
Did people try to make you feel bad about wanting to get out early?
Oh yeah, of course, man. There's always doubt, when you come back to the civilian life, but at the same time, I had to do what's best for me. I had to trust my faith and do what's right for me and my son, and he's happy, I'm happy, I made a great decision, so.
Yeah, that's really what I wanted to get at, how important it is to look at how your decisions impact you. Yeah. Because the people who have an opinion about your decisions are not going to be impacted by your decisions in the way that you are, because they are your decisions. You have men today, and for as many happily married couples as there are out there, because there are plenty of them, there are some where a man succumb to the pressure, the woman succumbed to the pressure, about maybe it was family pressure, maybe it was the pressure of the spouse. They really weren't ready to get married at that time, and today they're miserable because they didn't look at how their decision would affect them. They're worried about what mama would think. They're worried about what the spouse would think, when really at the end of the day, what's yours is yours. If it's yours, it'll come back to you. So looking out for self first, especially early in life. You have so much life ahead of you. I think the ability to make a decision with self in mind, not in a selfish way. And when I say self in mind, I mean like, I want this to have the greatest outcome for me,
right?
But I don't want to hurt anyone in the process. And as long as those two criteria are met, it's not to me selfish in a negative way.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes any sense.
Okay. So I understand, and I think thinking for yourself when it comes to decisions, you really have to. It's a lot of distractions that can come about. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of smoke screens. You know, so you can, like you say, in a marriage, you can be to a point where everything between you and the person is going so well, and the things you want to happen, you know, you want to happen, and she wants them to happen, but you got to think for yourself. You got to say, okay, I know it's going good, but let me think about this. Let me really dissect it with myself before I go anybody else. And then, of course, that's when the family comes around, and you know. But if you take the time to think for yourself before you really go on to do something that's critical or big in your life, I think it'll help you really see what's in front of you. You know what I'm saying? It'll make everything more clear, because if you don't think for yourself and you just go and you say, okay, I know this, we're going here, it's going to happen, then down the line, something ends up happening, and then you're like, what's going on now? And there's all kind of problems that come out of that, man.
And I would even add this to the conversation. I think some of the mistakes we make early in life as kids, maybe middle school, high school, maybe even college, in some situations where, you know, you didn't put self first in a bad decision, you having that go against you, whatever decision you made, and you feeling the pain and the consequences of that decision, that's something that could teach you how important it is to think for yourself. I think that's what it took for me. Some things I went through early in my life, I took self out of the equation, and then I made a decision based on the feelings of someone else, and then that backfired on me. Oh yeah. That's one of the main things that taught me how important it is to think for myself.
Same here, man. I dealt with the same thing in my life. I once did the same thing, man. I was dating someone, and it was going well, and I stepped out on everything and said, okay, gonna get married, you know, and just went to marriage and stuff like that, without considering my family, you know what I'm saying, which they was involved, but not all the way involved. So when I thought about it, as in thinking for myself, I really wasn't thinking for myself. It was like I was doing stuff, but I really wasn't thinking wholly for myself. So when I did do the things, it was like when I did get married or whatever, I was like, man, inside I was like, oh man, it's all bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen so much stuff that I just didn't like, oh well, I can't change this. I can't go back now. I'm already here. And then it just came from downhill.
That's the hard part.
So, oh man.
Once you get too far down the road, like a decision you make at this point, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, days go by, months, years, you're still stuck within that decision years later.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, I knew then that wasn't the best decision
well,
for me,
but
I did it anyway. So now you're thinking, how I'm gonna get out of this, you know? And that's when things get really difficult. Stress starts to pile on, and you know that's not good for the body or anything.
It's not. It's really not, man. Because I mean, I think women and men, or men and women, should always be able to come to a point where you have to really think for yourself. If you think for yourself before you do anything, you know, it'll allow you, like I said, it will allow you to see things clearer. I once, like, you know, heard something they saying, like, you know, you should, well, we all know, like, you should think before you speak, or if you don't have anything to say, you shouldn't say anything if you don't have the knowledge on it. And sometimes that's another thing. Sometimes it's like with thinking. If you don't have the knowledge on doing something before you think you're gonna do it, you shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we think about what we want to do, but we don't have the knowledge on what we're gonna do, even without speaking.
Right. So, and that's when you would like take a step back, take that time,
right,
to analyze the situation from all angles, and even if it's something involving like some type of research you got to do, do it. Get as informed as you need to be.
Yeah.
But just don't make an abrupt decision based on an externality, you know, like another person or something you've seen on TV. Just thinking for yourself, drawing your own conclusions based on your own analysis is one of the key pillars of manhood.
Yeah, I can really agree with that, man. Because it's just an everyday thing with not just adults, kids too. You know what I'm saying? I think it starts with leadership too. As with adults, if you start, you know, thinking for yourself as an adult, you can start channeling the kids, you know, early. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you're a kid or a teenager, you know what I'm saying, they always indecisive sometimes. They don't understand. And, you know, some parents lash out on them, you know what I'm saying? But it's a thinking, you know what I'm saying, they don't understand. So I think a lot of times as I've gotten older, you know what I'm saying, me having a child or seeing other kids, I think a lot of times as a parent, we should always, you know, really tap into how our child is thinking, you know what I'm saying? Because we're so easy to be like, oh, you did wrong, whatever, but we never saying, well, why did he do that? Well, how did he do that?
Right.
How did that come about?
It's the counseling that's missing. Discipline without counsel is, you know, that could be an issue. That's how you can never have that mental connection. Like you ask them why they did what they did, why they felt like they had to. I'm not gonna get too far into that. I am not a parent, so I am not the parenting guru. I guess I'm thinking of it from when I was a kid, because I got that from my parents, and I think it benefited me. So I guess I'm speaking on it from that angle.
Yeah, I got you.
As a father.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Well, we had a good conversation, man, on this episode of Man Theory. You know,
yes, sir, we
ask that you all tune in to the next episode of Man Theory. I am, you know, the prolific one, Matthew.
I am Get the Keys 247 on Instagram and Facebook if you're looking to buy or sell a home.
Thank you for tuning in to our magnificent show where we redefined masculinity. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you comment below. Like, seriously, like Luis would say, comment. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 21st Man. We out.